What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Jim Jones thought he could troll his way through disrespecting Nas, but the culture didn't let that slide, not even for a minute. And now every rapper is on his case reminding him to put some respect on Nas's name. Let's get right into it. For y'all to understand how we got here, let's rewind back to that moment when Jim Jones dismissed Nas's cultural weight entirely. He even claimed that his own son didn't know a single Nas record, then flexed about his own Billboard entries and platinum plaques being more than Nas's. In his words, if you lined up their stats, he was winning.
There must be some type of misconception or what's that word when it comes to Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. But they forget I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself, gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums. No, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones.
Shortly after that, Jones went head-to-head with Shannon Sharpe in a superheated nightcap episode because he was already carrying the weight of previous comments. And when Shannon asked him to clarify, Jim doubled down, saying Nas lost him after Belly, completely brushing off Illmatic, Stillmatic, Ether, and nearly 2 decades of classics like they were old mixtapes from a barbershop.
I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Said that
but listen.
Shannon didn't let that slide. He legit went off on Jim, telling him that controversy might get him booked, but it won't put him. Shannon said, and I quote, "You're not seeing Nas, bro. I can be in the church house, and Nas still relevant. You can't live that." When Jim tried to pivot to Nas's fashion sense and Dipset street style, Shannon shut it down. This was about pen game, not outfits. And that context is important, because it's exactly what Joe Budden brought up when he jumped into the conversation. On his podcast, Joe broke it down plain. There's no universe where Jim believes he's a better rapper than Nas. Not lyrically, not culturally, and definitely not statistically. Joe traced it all back to the fact that Jim said his own son couldn't recognize Nas. But that's like a whole generation apart. One generation's ignorance shouldn't be mistaken for validation. Then came Jadakiss and Fat Joe, both of whom tried to steer Jim back toward reason during a recent podcast appearance. They weren't disrespectful, but they didn't let him rewrite hip-hop history either. Jada kept it simple. We don't go by Billboard hits. We go by bars. He invoked clue tapes and the unspoken rules of New York rap. If you didn't get busy, you didn't belong. And Nas held the gold standard. Jim might have picked up his sense where he had dropped it, because he later came online fighting for his life. After going at it with Shannon Sharpe, Jim tried to play it off like it was all a stunt. He went online, posted cryptic captions about bending the algorithm, and laughed off the backlash like it was all part of the plan. But what he didn't plan for was the way the rap world clapped back with receipts. The thing is, Jim doesn't need to pull stunts like this. He's got classics, longevity, and credibility. But when you play with legacy, especially one like Nas's, you cross a line. He admitted he's chasing a bag, saying going viral is part of the hustle. But for many, it's clear. If you have to drag legends for clicks, then the legacy you're building might not be one worth keeping. Because in the end, no amount of trolling changes the truth. Nas didn't just build hits, he built hip-hop memory. And the culture is making sure Jim Jones knows exactly where that line is.
I ain't got time to play. I'm trying to make some money. I'm going broke. I'm tired of wearing the same clothes. Whatever you need to say about me, I'm tired of it.
Okay, what in the emotional Snitch Chronicles is going on with Lil Woody right now? Because what just hit the internet isn't a rumor, a leak, or some courtroom twist. It's a full-blown unraveling, live on camera. And this time, it's not about Young Thug, YSL, or snitch accusations. It's about a man saying he's broke. Like, broke. Now here's the wild part. It wasn't a flex, a storyline, or some PR stunt. This was pain. Real, raw, can't breathe through it pain. Lil Woody went live, visibly shaken, tears in his eyes, and said straight up, "I'm going broke." And you could hear the weight in his voice, the kind of voice that sounds like it's been carrying years of regret. So now everyone's asking, how did it get this bad? Remember, this is the same Lil Woody who was deep in the middle of the YSL trial chaos. As you guys already know, he was labeled the informant, the guy who allegedly laid out details for prosecutors that were so detailed. People joked he needed a podcast, not a lawyer. But after all that, most of his statements didn't even make it into the courtroom. So now he's stuck with the snitch label and no real reward. The streets don't respect him. The system didn't save him. And the people he thought were solid, yeah, they left the chat the second things got rough. In the video, Woody opened up about the betrayal. He said that people he trusted just literally turned their backs on him.
Let me tell y'all something about friendship. Friendship don't just go away like this when somebody mad. A lot of these people don't really be y'all friend. They just be using y'all to their own benefits. They want what you got. They want the attention that you gain. It's something that they're around you for, because a real friend won't fall out with you because you associate with people they don't like.
And that moment, that hit different, because you could see it in his face. He wasn't just broke financially, he was emotionally bankrupt too, and that's when the entire internet flipped. One fan commented, "A snitch talking about somebody turning their back on him. Crazy." Another said, "A rat talking about loyalty? This gotta be satire." Someone else even added, "He really thought he was the main character. Now he's just the plot twist nobody saw coming." It was harsh, but it captured the brutal mood online. But let's be real, no matter how you feel about him, watching a grown man beg for someone, anyone, to listen, that's heavy. This wasn't about fame. It wasn't even about clearing his name. This was survival. You could feel it. He wasn't just crying, he was unraveling. And here's where it gets worse. Even if you wanted to feel bad for him, the internet won't let you. The same fans who once debated whether he was brave or reckless for cooperating, they're now calling him delusional for expecting loyalty after burning bridges. So what happens now? Is this rock bottom for Lil Woody? Or is this the kind of breakdown that comes right before the redemption arc? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. He played the game and the game played him back. He thought telling the truth would be his way out, but it left him more isolated than ever. No legal win, no street respect, just a live stream and a broken voice trying to make sense of it all. And the internet? It's like watching a reality show. But this ain't entertainment, it's a warning shot. A reminder that the system doesn't reward everyone who plays by its rules, and the streets definitely don't forget. So now the only thing left to ask is Lil Woody finished? Or is this the start of something we didn't see coming? Let me know what you think.